Welcome. Thanks everybody for tuning in to Listening Pleasure, your new favorite podcast. It's not your traditional podcast as we talk about all subjects and we bounce around. As I like to say, we learn together, grow together podcast. And today is a very special episode because everybody gonna have to come across this path one day or the other. If not already, even if you already have, you may have your starter and you want to transition to something else. So today we have some realtors on and we're talking about the market, home buying, land, selling, everything that you can think of that they know. We're gonna ask them and we're gonna grow together and learn together. So as we always say at this time, please share this link on your Facebook, YouTube, so we can get many followers and viewers as we can. Bro, share this link right now. And my co-host just texts it's not going to be able to make it today, which is cool. We got plenty of people on to keep you like entertained. So with that being said, we have several people, so we're gonna go ahead and start introducing some of our guests. And I'm gonna start off with our first guest. Known this guy for a minute. I'm just gonna bring him in. We got Mr. Tiante Gray. When I introduce y'all, please share your company or whatever your business name as I introduce you, so that people can understand. May want to follow. You never know what viewers you're agreeing today. So I'm bringing on first Mr. Tiante Gray. Y'all welcome Mr. Tiante Gray to the stage. You're on, brother. I can't hear you.
Muted. All right, I'm
There
good.
you go.
My mic is. I'm new to StreamYard. This is like the second time I've been on StreamYard. Name is Tiante Gray. I work for Core Mortgage. I'm a branch manager for Core Mortgage. I have a few loan officers under me. I am a lender or mortgage broker, however you want to say it. You
All
can
right.
go ahead, man.
Okay. Next up, we're going to bring in Miss Yolanda. Y'all give Miss Yolanda a round of applause as we bring her to the stage.
Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing? um, I'm Yolanda Wesley. I am a Virginia licensed realtor. I am with First Class Real Estate. I do have my own business under well, I can't even talk. First Class Real Estate locked. It's locked into real estate, and that is my personal business, my LLC. That license is also being held by First Class Real Estate. No.
All righty.
No.
Moving right along, we're going to welcome one of our next guests. Uh, Next up, we have Mr. Kevin. I'm going to let him introduce himself. Mr. Kevin, y'all welcome Mr. Kevin to the stage.
What's going on, everybody?
Hello.
Hey, Yolanda. T,
Hey.
what up, brother?
What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Kevin Moore. I'm a licensed realtor here in Virginia with Keller Williams Allegiance out in Yorktown. I also have my own business that's held by that brokerage, which is Moving Keys Incorporated.
All right. Next up, we'll go through this introduction. We have my man, Mr. Dominique James. Y'all welcome Mr. Dominique James.
Hey, what's up? How y'all doing?
What's
I'm
going
not
on,
already
bro?
heard it.
So Dominic James, I'm with Frontline Realty Group, Realtor agent, however you want to say it, like y'all say, um, and broker by Mission Realty Group.
Mhm.
All right, all right. Next up, we got coming. Y'all welcome Miss Angela Butts. Y'all welcome Miss Angela Butts.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hello.
Hey,
I
hey.
I am I am Angela Bucks. I am a licensed real estate agent with Rucker Realty, based in Portsmouth, Virginia, but I service Northern Virginia, parts of Richmond, and all of the Hampton Roads area.
All right, all right. And y'all welcome last but not least, my main man, Mr. Brandon Diggs.
What up, B?
Good
What's going
evening,
on?
everybody. Brandon Diggs, Diggs by Diggs Real Estate with Real Broker. I'm just glad to be here tonight.
All right, all right. So welcome everybody. Now y'all see we got plenty of people, plenty of views and opinions. So hopefully everybody watching should be contacting one of these people to progress with your housing. Sorry, I'm all over the place. With your housing thing. Sorry. All righty. So we're gonna go right into it. We're gonna go with one of the basic questions off top. Everybody know. So we're gonna get everybody's opinion on this. From what credit score do I need to get started in the home buying process?
How do you want to do this? You want anybody to answer?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because I don't. Some people might not want to answer it. If y'all feel like it, I could call people out. I
All
could
right.
randomly call people. But yeah,
I
just
mean,
shout your opinion.
it. I mean, I can just throw some out there. I know there are some mortgages where, I mean, I don't know many in Virginia, that will take some risk and give someone under a 620 um a pre-approval. However, the interest rate
Crucial.
Mm-hmm.
ain't gonna be good.
Yeah.
uh ain't gonna be no good, no good. But for the most part, the common credit score, like the happy medium, is 620, and once you get like 640 and above, that's where you can get a little more like can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing with the
Oh,
screen to make sure everybody don't look small.
oh, okay. Once you hit the 640 and above, you have some companies can give you some, from what I know, from the mortgage companies I've dealt with, they can kind of throw in a little bit of closing cost assistance, but you have to have above 640 for that.
I
Anybody else?
second what Yolanda said. There are some companies that will take a risk with the 580 credit score. I've had some clients get approved at as low as a 580, but your interest rate will be higher most of the time. But if you're looking to get any type of grants or assistance, um, you need to have a higher credit score.
Gotcha.
All
Mm-hmm.
right. So I'll give you an answer from a lender perspective. So FHA guidelines will allow you to go down to 580 with a credit score of 580 to put down 3.5%. But it has to make sense. You might not get an approval with a 580 score, but you can do one. I just did a refinance with a 591 last week. So it's always going to depend. Typically, the lowest you can have to get any kind of assistance is 600 score. In the broker world, we have multiple lenders that we can choose from that has multiple programs. I always try to coach people and develop them. So if you have like a 618, I'm going to look at your credit and see what you can do to bump up to over a 620. That just makes logic sense. But if we can't get over a 620, we just got to use the 618, and we kind of work from there. So it's not like a one answer because you can actually get a mortgage well lower than a 580 score. It's just you gotta put 10% down. So it's all
Um,
so most of these questions we're gonna go tonight, it's not gonna be a single answer. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
mm-hmm.
Um, but it is a scale. So FHA guidelines is 580, conventional 620, USDA, VA. USDA 620, VA is just going to be a wild, wild west with VA. It is.
Yes.
Good. Anybody else want to chime in?
Now, I pretty much said it
Hit
all
it.
for the most part.
Mhm. Yeah.
Appreciate that. So we're gonna jump to this one first question. James St. Patrick asks, "What is the difference between the interest rate and the APR?"
Sound like a Linda.
Lord Jesus. So we're going to get technical. So the interest rate is, oh God. Listen, y'all going to get all technical tonight. So basically, your interest rate is the rate that is being guaranteed typically for 30 years is a fixed rate. That's your interest rate. The APR is going to be the added over time. Let me give you a definition for you. I won't be talking about me online.
I know that's right.
I mean, because when you ask those type of answers,
Hmm.
this APR stands for your annual percentage rate, and is a percentage that represents the total yearly cost of borrowing money, including your interest rate and fees. So basically, you have your interest rate, and over a year, you pay the interest rate and fees, and it's just a percentage of that. So it's called your APR, is your annual percentage rate. The difference is the interest rate plus fees that you accrue over time. That's the textbook answer. And then London, nobody asked that. They're like, "What's my interest rate?" That's all
That's
they
how I was
care
like,
about.
oh, that sound like a.
Oh, you will get Google answers for me because you won't be talking about me.
So here's another question that someone hit me on and asks. They ask, which well, I'm gonna let you guys answer before I even speak my opinion. So they ask, how much down payment would I have to put down?
If you're a first time home buyer, and depending on the program that you got, is 3.5%. But
Yeah.
if you go VHDA, which is Virginia Housing, then they have a grant that they actually give you with the program. Which you talking about the credit score you have to qualify for, and you have to take a class. Once you take that class, the certificate just lasts for 2 years, but they help you with the down payment, so you'll have two separate loans, but it's a smaller loan. So all you have to do is just pay for your closing costs, which is 3.5% of the sales price.
And a lot of time
Okay.
VA loans are, I don't know if you said it already, Kevin. I'm sorry if I'm
Look good.
overstepping. But like a VA loan, it's a lot of times zero, 0%
Yeah.
down.
Mm-hmm.
So it all depends on what um program like you're pre-approved under. Like Kevin
Mm-hmm.
said, FSJ, conventional or VA, it all depends. And it all depends on your financial situation as well.
Okay.
Just let me know when y'all want me to chime in. So all lender questions I'm gonna answer because I that's what I do. So realtor questions, I'm not even gonna say nothing. But lender
This
questions,
look like this is gonna be your show tonight, then.
no, we're
Yeah,
gonna get
exactly. Because it's all
listen,
about the
listen,
finance. They
listen.
they
I
got
will
to get the
ask realtor
finances out.
questions that they can ask that they need to know. So don't worry about that. No, we're gonna play this. But since we got it on the line, all right. So typically, you have to follow whatever the guideline is for that loan product. So conventional loan as a first-time home buyer, you could get a 3% down. Right now, with special programs out there, we got a 0% down for a first-time home buyer. All right,
Hmm.
throw that to the side. FHA, you have a 3.5% as your down payment, whether you're a first-time home buyer or not. You could get an FHA loan. All right, so it's 3.5%. And what happens is you have grant programs, you have first-time home buyer programs, you have down payment assistance programs. All they're doing is helping you out with that 3.5% down payment. So either they're going to
Hmm.
pay the whole thing as a grant, or they're going to pay the whole thing and then has a second mortgage on it, a second lien on it, where you pay it back. Or like Kevin said, they're going to give you 2% and you got to come up with the 1.5%. Other programs that you can use. First time home buyer doesn't mean anything really. Will be like a VA loan, which is a 0% down, or USDA loan, which is 0% down as well. I like to always tell people just because you're first time home buyer does not mean you get a magical bucket of things. First time home buyer is just a prerequisite for you can be able to get program if it's available, if it makes sense for you. It may not always make sense. It could come with a higher interest rate. It could come with debt to income requirements. It could come with credit requirements. Everybody, just because you're a first time home buyer doesn't mean that the government gonna give you this magical money. It's all gonna have overlays with it. So
Or
let
the sales or the home sales price can be more than what is allowed to borrow from it.
Yep.
let us help you.
Correct, correct. That's gonna lead me to another thing, but so I'm gonna go to this first. We'll go to a viewer question, and they said, "What is one of the biggest mistakes people make when buying a home?" So let's hear from Brandon first. I don't know if I heard. So make sure everybody talk.
Oh man, you want me to talk, but I think that's a that's a loaded question. Is all of these things are going to vary. People have buyer's remorse all the time, so not being solid on what it is that you truly want. Um, you can look at it from that aspect, from again just what you're thinking personally. It can also be um, financially scrapping when you overextended yourself on the purchase of a home. You're just not being real and honest and transparent. A lot of times, we as realtors serve as the guides in the process, and if people don't have proper guidance, like they listen to their aunt, uncle, cousin who guided them through the process and not wanting to trust their advisor through the process. So it's a lot of things to consider. Um, I don't want to make it seem like it's the scariest of things, but I would say properly vetting your
Realtor.
representative. And a lot of people don't know the proper questions to even ask to ensure that they have proper representation. So I think we could talk more about kind of like giving people some guidelines on what they should ask or what they should think about asking in the interview process for the agents.
Great, great answer.
It's not always
Everybody else.
about time and service, and I'm just throwing out just real stuff that we see in the field. There'll be some people who say, "Hey, I've been doing this for 20 years," but no deals are the same. Pretty much every deal is its own entity, and the more reps you have, like how many transactions you've done, that kind of gauges the level of experience as well as who they're affiliated with, how what their team members look like, what is their market center, their brokerage, like all of these things matter because that experience has become compounded information that we can leverage and help our clients make the best decision. I know that was a lot of loaded stuff, but it's like not no one single point of failure when it comes to making a bad decision.
So, like he was
So,
saying, I was gonna say
oh,
it's two. He took one. He said vetting your agent, because in the home buying process, your agent, I mean, they're guiding you through this whole process and they're giving you their, I'm saying, experience and their knowledge on what's going on. If you don't have the experience and knowledge of, what the market looks like, what to look for in certain properties that you're looking at, I mean, that can actually hurt you and you pick the wrong property. But the second one I was gonna say is always, always, always get a home inspection. Right now, the way the market is, people are, I'm saying, trying to beat the price and beat uh the negotiations and not and do for information only on the inspection. Whereas, I'm saying, then I mean, you go into the process and it's thousands of dollars worth of damage that you ain't know about. Now you got to come out of pocket, I'm saying, with that damage. So, I'm saying, making sure that you always get a home inspection so you know what's going on with the property, because otherwise nobody really keeps up with that, and there's no way that you can actually go back and look to see what, I'm saying, somebody's had done. No invoices on who did the work, anything like that. So you could have had your homeboy, from 35th Street, come and do some work, and it could be all wrong. So, you
Hmm.
know what I mean? Just make sure you get a home inspection so you know what you're walking into, because otherwise, in the long run, if you go ahead and close on that property, it's going to cost you $1,000 in the long run.
And to touch on what Kevin and Brandon both said, it's very important to interview your real estate agent, because there are a lot of agents out here working just to make a dollar. You
Mm-hmm.
know, asking those questions, if they're saying what you want to hear, they might not be the agent for you, because you got to be real with your clients. You got to let them know.
And
Sometimes selling a house with the solar panels on them, those are difficult homes to sell. If I'm going to list your house, I'm going to be upfront and honest. It might not sell in a week, it might take a month, because there's things that come along with those solar panels that they don't tell you when you get
Mm-hmm.
them. So I'm not
Hmm.
going to sit here and tell you, hey, I'm going to get your home sold in a week. I'm going to be upfront and real with you. And you
Hmm.
need an agent that's going to be real with you.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's
All
right.
right. So to piggyback off of what everyone else said, so I would say one of the biggest things that I see people come off the rip, they always want to tell me the price they seen on Zillow. Oh, well, I should pay this amount for the house. And I'm explaining to them, hey, like Zillow hasn't taken into account insurance, fees, all of those other things that go into the process. And get the pre-approval is the most important first step, probably after vetting your agent and making sure you got somebody representing you properly. The pre-approval has to be one, so that you're not wasting that agent's time with showing you properties that are way out of your price range, and then two, to again, maybe you want to be under that budget and make sure that you can make that payment every month. So the pre-approval is important. Do not trick yourself by looking at the Zillow prices.
oh,
Yeah,
great information.
That's true.
let me
Come on.
speak on what James is saying. Mr. James is saying. I'll just add to that real quick since he talked about pre-approval, so y'all know that's a buzzword for me. I don't want to take nobody's shine. All right, but listen, the biggest mistake, I'll go with James said, is people don't have proper expectations of what they think
Yep.
their payment is going to be versus to what the house they want. Um, a $300,000 home in our mind 20 years ago is not the same house today. So when I tell people that you get paid $6,000 and they think that's a lot of money, it's not a lot of money in today's market. So let's go ahead and reel you back into looking at that 245 home. And this is what these guys are here for, to show you this 245 home.
And it's
My
not going to
job
be
is to,
updated all the time.
oh yeah,
That's
most of the
true.
time it's not.
You got investor properties is high up
Yep.
there nowadays.
Oh
Right.
Yeah.
man,
And,
properties,
and then
these
not
people are
maxing out
rehabbing.
your budget either, because you're
Mm-hmm.
approved for $300,000. You got to remember, real estate taxes go up and go down, so your mortgage
Yep.
can change.
And they have to think about, oh, I'm sorry, you wasn't done. Tell Mr. Gray,
Oh,
you go ahead.
I know how y'all relatives is. I know. I know.
Don't do that.
Don't you do
It's too
It's
it's
But
too
more of
many of
us, so
us.
don't
We'll
make
see you
us
in
do
these
Right?
them for you.
but that, what I would say, is the number one biggest mistake is not understanding the actual amount of home that you can afford comfortably. Because if your payment max is $2,000, let me show you what 2,000. Forget the pre-approval amount. Let me show you what $2,000 is going to land you in. And like she said, this is not going to be set. Now your interest rate and your principal is going to be fixed for 30 years, but mortgage and insurance can go up and down. I'm sure me taxes and insurance can go up.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done.
Well,
Did it.
I'm just gonna add my little 2 cents real quick. To add in about like the mortgage payments. That just seems to be the main focus. They don't add in the other bills that they have, not including water and gas and electricity. Hey, you got, you may have a car payment, you may have car repairs. Well, no, you will have car repairs, car maintenance, uh, Netflix, um,
Groceries.
entertainment, grocery, child care, child support. Who knows? It's a, you have to, I tell my clients all the time, let's go over your whole budget. You know, let's sit down with the mortgage officer. You're pre-approved for this amount. Let's go over your entire budget to see exactly what home we need to target so that all of your lifestyle can be comfortable along with this mortgage,
Mm,
because they forget those other bills. They just
mm.
focus on, yeah, this is the mortgage payment. Yeah, the other stuff will increase your monthly expenses. So that's something, they tend to forget. And that could be a big mistake.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, since we talking about that adding stuff in, and we talking about adding stuff in, let's address one of the biggest, in my opinion, false narratives about you realtors jacking up the price for commission on the
Oh,
house.
what?
So
Hey, it's funny you brought
that's a
that
lot of the
up.
talk. I mean, everybody,
Oh
anytime you selling something from one person to the next, everybody feeling you jacking it up for your bigger cut to go in your pocket. So that's one of the biggest
Mm,
false narratives I've heard. I don't know if you guys hearing it. So let's
mm.
let's let's address that so the people can get that out of the way and get in faster to get the buying these houses. So
Hey, I always say it's two sides to every coin because of the fact that you have your clients who, for example, um, client called me the other day. He was explaining about a bad situation with a realtor, and y'all know how this market is. It's crazy. People are going above and beyond. Um, he was complaining that he felt like she was priced, like trying to make him put in a bigger offer to
Mhm.
make the the paycheck higher for him.
Mm.
And in my head, I'm thinking whatever percentage it was of $10,000, it's not worth a bad review, honestly,
Right.
or a broken relationship with a person
Mhm.
at the end of the day. Um, and I like to, like I said, I play both sides. I like to hear, like, or think of myself as hearing out both sides. I honestly think that maybe the agent was trying to win him
The
the
deal.
competitive, put in a competitive offer and win the deal at the end of the day. But and you got to be careful of those people that accuse someone of that. I'm not saying all of us are angels or saints, but for the most part, I don't think I've run into an agent who is pressed over getting an extra 500, $600 on their paycheck.
Nope.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I want to tag along. I don't think agents are necessarily price gouging. In his situation, I think they probably were trying to win that offer because we're in situations right now where there are multiple offers again. People are saying no inspection. So sometimes you want to go in higher than what the list price is. It
Yeah.
depends on the situation and if your client, can afford it. And that's a big part of interviewing your real estate agent. You know, one big thing is, why did your agent get into the business? And truly listen to why they got into the business.
Mhm.
Are they in the business to make a dollar? Is this their only source of income? Those are big questions.
Mm.
Mhm.
And I think at the same time, as realtors, like I understand that we're out looking for business, but we have to also understand that we're interviewing our clients too.
Facts.
So when we're interviewing them, we got to make sure that they're touching on the language that we want to hear as well. So when we're educating, let's just talk about the market. Right now, I think we're hyper fixated on the competitive homes. Yes, with the competitive homes that are fully ready to go, move in ready, yes, you can expect to try to go above and beyond to win. But if you're listening to our clients and they don't necessarily have that money in the bank, those reserves, we can present information to them to where, hey, we may be able to get you closing costs, or hey, we may be able to put in a lower offer for this house because it's been on the market for 21 plus days. And we can, negotiate some repairs. We can do these things. So if we're listening to the clients and kind of painting a picture, again, serving as the guide, um, because the big thing is a lot of people don't understand the the steps involved in real estate. The past few years have painted a picture of like just wealth overnight. And when we're looking at trends over time, real estate is a long play. Like it's always the long play. Right now, we're just reaching these astronomical numbers, but everything levels out and it has an oscillating cycle. I say all these big words to break it down to this. You need a starter home. The starter home is to get you on base. This is where you can start building equity, and equity allows you to level up over time. So for that first home, we can't look at this like, hey, this is going to be my Taj Mahal. It doesn't always work that way. I use my personal example. I bought my first house in 2007, right before the market crashed. I lost, I paid 160 for this house. And over the next few years after that, between 2008 and 2014, that house is worth $70,000. So I'm super upside down in my house. I kept the property. It served my family for the reason that I purchased the house, which was to provide a shelter. But if you look at the numbers on paper, I was down, but I didn't need to move. I ended up keeping the property a few more years. I'm looking to sell it right now, where it's closing next week. But I stand to make $100,000 on that property because I kept it through all of that. It went down to 70. Now I'm selling it for 200. And I'm just saying that's 14, 15, 16 years in the process. But I had this property and I just let it work for me over time. We got to understand what we're looking at as far as studying the numbers, the trends, and having a trusted advisor. That's what we do. Study that stuff for people and be able to paint and illustrate that picture so that we can make winners out of our clients. But yeah, tangent off, drop, mic drop. That's what we get.
Oh, that was good. That was good stuff.
But
Yeah,
no, that's the big thing. I think like we gotta help shape the narrative for folks because everything is microwave society. We got to get it now. We got to get it yesterday. We
Right.
should have already had it. That's not how this works. It's, it's,
You're
it's,
right.
it's a process to everything, and we're the scientists, and we got to pretty much deliver this product to them so they understand.
That's right.
correct.
That's right.
You jumped into something I wanted to get into. I'm debating if I want to go to this question now about the starter homes, and I might just wait and we come back. Well, no, I'm gonna go. Let me ask this question first from so I won't get behind on our viewers. I know I've seen two questions. So we got one from Mr. Anthony Parker. What's up, brother? He said, "Is it racism, within the process?"
Well, I don't know if some of y'all seen that big news article a couple of weeks ago here in Virginia Beach, but
Oh, the
if you've
doctor.
seen it, yes, that should answer
Hmm.
your question. Well qualified African American doctor put in an offer. Offer was accepted. She crossed paths with the seller. Seller said she did not want to sell to an African American.
Mm.
Yes. And
It
inbox
ain't
me
gonna be
for
your
that.
house no more, ma'am. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Now you, yeah. She sent me that article, and I started reading. Somebody got to go back to. Yeah, it's crazy.
Hey, it's America. You got to
Yep.
respect that and
Exactly.
everything.
I
Like,
mean, it don't make sense to me because you're selling it because you don't want to live in it. So what does it
Well,
matter who it is that's
yes,
purchasing it?
Yep.
man.
all
They
right,
let you
so
know, like you say, in
I don't,
America, that's how it go.
yeah, yeah, we're gonna let that ride.
So many people stuck
Well,
stuck in their ways and
Let that ride.
privilege
well,
and
I'll
whatever.
say
Let me
this.
just say this then. Let me
Oh,
just
go
jump in
ahead.
because Yolanda, you saying something, but I think it's loaded. Yeah, she's letting it go, but y'all about to get me in trouble. Every community outside of ours maintains some level of pride and responsibility to the people
Bingo.
around them. And so, with her knowing that, I think she has something tethering at her spirit saying, I'm letting my people down in my community if I let this go to you. That's the real issue. So, they still maintain some level of mm,
I
connectivity. Whereas we kind of just like we let everybody ride with us. You cool, you cool. We eh,
I,
let me stop. But y'all know what I'm saying.
I don't know,
But
Brandon. I
at
don't
the
know,
Hey,
same
Brandon.
time, there are laws against that. So
I
Yeah, it's
both
know.
laws
agents
I'm
against
not
on
that.
both
saying it's right.
sides should have
I'm not
corrected
saying
it.
And
it's
she
right
already
at
letting her
all.
people go because she leaving her people.
But she
So
it's replacements.
she moving.
That's right. Next one
And
up.
this is a well to do professional black woman. It
Yes.
Listen,
it
listen. I'm gonna tell y'all. I've been on some
so
stages. I had the privilege. I had the privilege of going to one of the most prestigious universities in America and serving in one of the well-renowned jobs as a naval officer, lieutenant commander in Navy. And you know what I was at the end of the day? Yeah, they reminded me every time.
still black.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
They reminded me.
Hmm.
So it doesn't matter how esteemed you are and what accolades you've accomplished and achieved.
I agree. Hmm.
It
And you
don't matter.
still
Yeah, it don't matter. It definitely doesn't, but it's just she's selling. Okay, I'm gonna just
I
leave
would
it.
say,
I'm gonna leave
It
it.
don't it don't make
well,
sense to you because that's not in your, you know what I'm saying, in your character or your nature. So,
Right.
you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying, something that we don't do, we don't
Mhm.
understand it. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah. Yeah.
we
Yeah.
genuinely love, you know what I'm saying, any and everybody is no color when
that
it comes to
hatred.
certain
Right.
Yeah.
people.
Let's
Yeah.
get
You know
Yeah.
what
Deep
I
to
mean?
it.
hatred.
Because
That's
we
yeah.
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 So that's the only reason why it's something that we'll never understand.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
I
right.
have a question. Because from what I have seen in on the news, as far as I'm gonna say Navy Federal,
Mm-hmm.
it's not just the homeowners that
Mm-hmm.
America.
are
James, come on
in the
over to this side, man.
yeah, it's not just the
Come on, man.
homeowners that are trying to sell to
That's
another,
right. You're right.
ethnicity. It's the lenders as well.
Well,
So what?
Perfect
So what can we
segue, James.
do?
but
What
it's
can we do
hard
as agent?
because
Oh, go ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Because me and my husband had a personal experience with the lender and the agent that we had when we first tried to purchase a home. And that's why I became a real estate agent, because I vowed I'm never going to let that happen to anybody else ever again. We
Hmm.
lost out on like $6,000
Mhm.
because of a bad real estate agent, and that's a nice way to put it, and a predatory lender. So I'm like, this ain't happening to anybody ever again if I have control over it.
Well, I just like to
Hmm.
say this.
Yeah.
Far as in this
I don't
whole
like it.
situation, this has been going on for so long. We only know about it when it gets into the news and everything like
Hmm.
that. I know I've had plenty of clients that they didn't get their offer accepted just because they was black. It is what it is. We already know it. But it's the same way when people put in mortgage applications and they're told no. We've seen it in the news with Wells Fargo. We've seen it in the news with Navy Federal Credit
Mhm.
Union. And I can't be who I am without saying this. This is why I'm in the mortgage side of the business. For I can not only tell people no, I can say, wait a minute, not right now. This is what you need to work on. This is what we need to get you to.
Mhm.
And that way, the dream of culture, home ownership is not dead. Because when they get told no by these big banks and the
Mm-hmm.
lenders that we all love and know, but they're not
Yeah.
educating them on how to get a yes. And my job is
Yeah.
to say, not right now, but this is how you
Yeah.
can get a yes. Don't kill your dream because I'm here to help you and I'm not going to treat you any different than anybody else. I'm here to help you to get to that yes. And that's what's been going on for the lending side for years. But I'm here
Good stuff.
now.
For
Good
sure.
stuff. Good stuff.
That's
Good
right,
Hey,
Mr.
stuff.
round of
Gray.
applause on
Thank
that.
you.
Hey,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
All right. That's hey, I like it. So I want everybody to have a little say so on this, maybe not so many. What's the difference, as Mr. Diggs already started? It was one of the questions. What's the difference and the benefits between the starter home and trying to purchase that dream home out the gate?
Well, you 9 times out of 10, you can't afford a dream home in this market right now because your dream home is going, you know what I'm saying, half a million or, you know what I'm saying, something like that. So basically what the thing is with a lot of knowledge is hidden in books, and if we're not reading about it, we don't know. The purpose of a starter home is to be your own bank. You know what I'm saying? Buy the starter home, leverage the equity that you have in the house to upgrade. You know what I'm saying? So it's a step stool. So the second one still might not be your dream home, but it's bigger than the other one. It has more amenities that you wanted that you couldn't
Yeah.
get in the first starter home, and then you do the same thing. Then you just take
Mhm.
and, you know what I'm saying, rinse and repeat for the most part. So you know what I mean? It's just a stepping game. You know what I mean? With everybody not gonna come out and, you know what I'm saying, and grab the new Benz. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have that
Oh,
Honda Accord first.
That's
Hey, I still
Mhm.
got mine.
That's it.
that's
I
right.
got one too.
That's
I'm
it.
gonna ride it till the wheels fall off.
That's right.
That's it.
Anybody else want to chime in on that?
I mean, I second what everything that Kevin said. In addition to, that starter home, is it's what you can make it of. You can make it into your dream home,
That's
and
right.
then you can turn it into an investment property, either long term or short term investment property, and then take that money, put some, to the side. Be smart about your budgeting and your finances and what you want to spend on your next home, potentially your dream home, and use that money from creating that investment property out of your starter home to get your dream home. It's all in how you strategize and put the pieces together in the puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. So I like that, and I like the way you use the word dream. I think we can dive into that more because a lot of people don't exercise their own ability to dream for themselves. They look at what other people's dreams
Yep.
are and want to emulate that. So
Hmm.
we can really start as agents, start peeling back the layers of the onion and start understanding what our clients' dreams actually are. And what I mean by that is it cash flow? Do you want to be financially free? Or do you just want a big house? And what purpose does this big house do for you? Like,
Mm-hmm.
we don't, and I'm gonna use me for example because I know my story better than anybody else's. And I I bought a pretty big house, but I don't go in all these damn rooms. So when you talk about, oh damn, did I truly want this or did I really think this all the way out? I don't think I did, but because it was something that I longed for. So now that I got here, it's not everything that I thought it was supposed to be. My kids don't go in those rooms. I don't go in those rooms. We have a third floor that's never used, air conditioned for nothing. So it's like when we can start really dreaming outside of the box or teaching each other some lessons that we learn and saying, hey, maybe it's just you want cash flow. Maybe you want to be able to fix your expenses for the year and not have a ever increasing rent or something like that. Or I want to be able to put money away, but help people to see things that they don't normally see. And I think that we're in a position to do that. So it's like what is the what you don't know, or if you know better, you do better.
Mm-hmm.
And if
Mm-hmm.
we can put them in a
Mm-hmm.
position to where we answer these questions and leading these questions that are potentially making them think critically, then we can help them to start dreaming their dreams instead of try to live everybody else's.
Yeah. Yep. That's perfect. Absolutely.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I get it. We're gonna take a second and we're gonna recognize a couple of quick second to recognize some local business as we do during this time. Pull them up. So first off, well, this guy's on the show, so we're gonna show you Mr. Diggs. Everybody get a view. Mr.
Oh,
Diggs Realtor.
the digs.
Yes,
Hello.
sir. So we represent Mr. Diggs, spotlighting his business for right now. And
Okay.
second business we're gonna spotlight is hold on, let me I'm so wrong. Mr. Diggs, go ahead. Say something. When I got your business up, you can talk and say something while you here instead of me pump pushing. You can say more than I can, you know it better than me. You on? Oh, he froze. We'll get
Yeah.
back to him. We're gonna
Lord,
go with
Lord,
our
Lord.
second business, which is visual creations. They one of our biggest supporters, sponsors, and everything. You can come get some of your custom design shirts, hoodies, glasses, decals, wall art. Anything you need custom made, they do a great job, great turnaround. Please feel free to hit them up. And if you got a local business, if hey, in order to get on here, you got to be part of our YouTube, Facebook channel, and sharing our information. And we won't man spotlighting your local business here and there. But back to the show. We got this question a lot, and I see it in the comments. Um, is it a good first man? Is it a good idea to rent to own?
Hmm. Those situations are rare now. Like
Yeah.
that's it's almost non-existent from what I've seen.
Okay.
And think about it like this,
Not in this area. I haven't seen a.
right? Think about it like this: if you rent to own, that person could be facing foreclosure. You not
Yep.
even know it. They could sell the
Mm.
house right up under you. You not even know it. I mean, so many things that you be throwing
Risky.
money away,
Yeah.
and you could put yourself in a bad situation.
Yeah, you got to be careful with rent to own. You got to know your contract, know what you're getting into. Like you said, the foreclosure piece, and you don't even know it. And the bank come and say, you got to get out. We own this house. They ain't paid the mortgage in 3 years.
Mm.
So
Mm.
you got to be careful.
Not only that, from what I've heard before, who's going to keep what I'm saying, keep track of what it is that you've paid up until the time that you're actually going to buy it, because you're only going to be rent for a certain period of time. You know what I'm saying? So say you got a 2 year period where you're renting, but then after 2 years you're supposed to buy it. Who's kept up with the payments versus the interest and everything else that you've paid, and say how much of that is going to go towards the purchase price of that home when it's time for you to buy.
Mm.
Good stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a question I have. Someone asked a little different. I'm gonna say this, and I say, can someone explain the difference between buying an already built home from building from the ground up? Which one give you more bang for the buck?
The
Depends on what buck you got.
that yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Let's
what
go.
I yeah.
Because if you ain't got 400,000, don't even talking about it.
Well, it's crazy because we purchased our home, we built from the ground up, and we paid almost the same price as a 20-year home. So it depends on where you're going, where you're at, what you can afford, what incentives you're gonna get. Because building from the ground up, sometimes there's incentives involved. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you still need an inspection, even though it's a brand spanking new house. Still get that inspection. Yes, the city has
Mm-hmm.
to inspect it, but city inspector is not gonna do what your paid inspector is gonna do.
Yep.
So you still need that inspection. There are things that are caught in our brand new built home from our inspector that we paid that the city did not document. So it depends on where you are in your needs and what you can afford to do at the time.
Yep.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
realtors, help me out with this. Is the average home price, sales price, is it more or less than a average new build? Because I think the new builds is about average 350, 360. Is that
Mhm.
about right?
If that's the
I say
average for a new build, then the median price is around 325, 330.
that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And they're kind of, you know,
No, it's expensive.
almost
But the thing about
both.
it too is what you got to understand is who's the
Mm,
builder. If
Yep.
you go to one of these big name builders, Ryan Holmes, Horton, whatever the case may be, you're gonna pay a little bit more because they got a name already in the area.
yep.
So if you know a Class A contractor, that's the best way to go about it. But
Mm-hmm.
or if you do that and you're a little, you got a little bit of knowledge of how the building process goes, you can pretty much, project management it, the process in your own. So, pretty much just build it out on yourself, get certain people to do certain things if you know what the price of
Yep.
it is.
Yep.
But
Yep.
you gotta have money for that, because you're not gonna be able to do that if you get a loan from a lender.
Right.
And that's what I was gonna say too. A lot of times people don't realize with the new build, you have to put a lot of money up front. You might
Yep.
get it back in closing based on your incentives, or you may still have to pay more at closing. But up front, you still got to put a lot of money down, whether you go through one of these big builders or you hire a contractor. These people want their money.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They'll do the phases, but up front, you're gonna have to put in a lot. This is
Also, I want to state
high
this. I know.
rolls.
Oh, go ahead. Somebody was saying.
Oh no, good.
I know everybody. I know a lot of y'all are very busy and time is limited. So anytime you come once that time, you gotta leave. Or so just give us a little wave, and we thank you for joining the show. Anybody, you gotta leave. Um, not my dad. It's my dad. He asks, "Do everyone deal?" Sorry, I got to squint. I ain't got my glasses on. Do everyone deal with a VA loan?
I love them. I close them all the time.
Yeah.
Great product. A lot of times you just got to have knowledgeable people to go ahead and put in your offer. I mean, I haven't had any issues with it. This is a big VA area. I close plenty of VA loans. Love them.
Big,
Yeah.
big. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so they're pretty much on that. Uh, I don't know.
Is a HELOC a
Okay,
good thing to get?
yeah,
Mm,
That
somebody
depends
want to
on your
answer.
situation.
Or
Um, he
circumstances?
Yeah, I mean, you got to have the credit for the HELOC. Got to be prepared to pay the extra interest rate, so it's going to be an extra payment there. What I like to do is do a comparison of what a HELOC's going to do versus a cash out refi. Do some debt consolidation to get your overall expenses down, because that's the key to have a cash flow. So we can reduce some of your. Don't be worried about the interest rate, because if we can reduce some of your actual expenses, we're going to reduce your overall interest rate anyway. It's called a blended rate, so we try to do that. But you just got to have a conversation. It's not a one answer, and we got to see which is the best for you.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry about that. Y'all the same. So it wasn't my dad. That's my brother. Y'all should have had the same name then.
oh,
So here's what what recommendations you have for. Well, it ain't got to be first time home, but what recommendations you have for homeowners to increase their value?
mm.
Mm. Increase the value.
Mm-hmm.
Increase the value of the home.
Yes.
Is that what it? Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know like landscaping, the landscape, the kitchens and bathrooms. A lot of people that's costly though. It's
Mm-hmm.
costly, but roof. I nowadays I would ask a seller to get a pre-inspection. And to me, that builds value because if you get a pre-inspection and you already know what needs
Mm-hmm.
to be taken care of, you get that done. And then when you list it, the home, I mean, people, when
Automatic.
they get their home inspection and they
Mhm.
see that it's not much that needs to be because it's already been done, to me that brings the value up because it's not much that the buyer has to deal with and they're willing to maybe put in more money because you have someone else thinking the same thing about
Mhm.
this property. It's not having much extra to do to repair. And
Mhm.
also, the cosmetics. A lot
Boom.
of people they go in, they're wow about the cosmetics.
Mhm.
And like I said, landscaping does play a part because I've had clients, they looked at the yard and they're like, did they cut it? Do they take care of it?
Or that dirt.
And I've had some didn't even want to look at it. I said, well, no, let's go inside. Let's take a look inside.
Mhm.
They
All right.
almost didn't want to look at the house because of the outside of
Now that's
First impression.
another side to that is the location. So even you might have a home that's in a decent location, but it's not the prettiest house on the block. So basically, what you want to do is, if you want to build, money off of that or build equity off of that, you're gonna have to do some work to it, I'm saying, and make it look somewhat decent. Because basically what's happening is that we do a comparative analysis around the market, around the homes in the area. So when you look at those, you got to look at, what's been updated in the house, how long has the roof been done, how long has the HVAC been done, and things like that. So those are the things that's going to bring value to the house, I'm saying, when people come in and know that those things have already been done, and you keeping the house up to be modernized for the most part, so it's up to date. So you don't have the wood paneling on your walls. You don't have the brown cabinets with the black spots on them, and things like that. So as long as keeping those things done, those are things that's going to bring value because people feel like they can be move-in ready.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. And they
I
could
walked
bring in
into a
multiple
couple of
offers
those
too,
today.
because they're trying to get their home.
And the fresh
Mm-hmm.
coat of paint goes a long way when
That's
you
it,
walking
Rob.
in. Like,
That's it. So I was
man,
gonna say that I've done that with multiple listings this year, and I leveraged relationships with our contractors. Um, and if you guys have listings and you want to talk more offline about that, but sometimes our clients they don't have the funds to get that house ready to
Mm-hmm.
go, like put it in the condition that we know is going to put it at the top of the list.
Yeah.
But when we're running their numbers, we see that they have a lot of equity.
Equity in the
So
house.
when we have those
Mhm.
homes that have a bunch of equity, but they don't have money readily available, this is where I leverage my relationships with contractors who are willing to get paid out at closing for coming in and changing out flooring and painting, and allowing the cameraman to come in and do his job. And that's that move in ready feel that
good
introduces
stuff.
that market
Mm-hmm.
value being increased, because what people see is the optics. They come in and they go
Yep.
straight for the cosmetics, and they see, ooh, this house is so ready for me now. New carpet, paint, it has a different feel. The smell of it makes them invites them in. So,
That's how
um,
some get limits.
and
Yep.
if I'm working the listing side, hey, I
Yeah,
gotta, this is fiduciary
Get
relationship.
that home
Yep.
inspection.
You
that's
just
right.
Yep.
buyer beware.
But you
Yeah,
know, to tag on to what Brandon said, I have a client, and we're looking at, and I'm laughing because somebody said, I think it was Kevin said the wood paneling. I have a client looking at $1 million homes that have those wood panelings. And my client can afford to change it themselves, but they want something they don't have to change. Beautiful home. That wood paneling killed the deal. She was like,
yep.
Hmm.
absolutely not.
Hmm.
Because they feel they spending that money, they just want to move in and be
Yeah,
ready to
I
Yep.
want
go.
to be
Yep.
done.
But going back to what you said, Rob, a fresh coat of paint. You know what I mean? If it's not brown and you paint over it and the seams are still intact,
Yes,
you
sir.
can't really tell.
Spray that wood. I listen. I had some I had a property. I spray that wood. You'll never know it's bad.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Trying to tell you. So we got a question from a viewer. They say, What the process looks like getting a house in your business?
Mm.
I guess in the LLC in your business name, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like something for Tiante. He's smiling.
Deontay.
He's smiling.
Yeah.
Here you go. Dun, dun, dun.
Hey, this is my last question. This is my bedtime. Shoot.
You ain't got to work tomorrow.
Nope.
Listen,
This for the team, June.
I gotta make this money though.
That's
um,
I like that.
so a lot of people don't understand that it's not as easy as it seems on the internet. You could just go
Mhm.
slap a LLC and get the house in the LLC type of thing. Um, most lending options for you, you're gonna have to use your personal credit to secure the loan. And when you go to title, you can add the LLC on the title. But a lot of those type of loans are not going to be your traditional 3% down, 3.5% down type of loans. These are going to be more of a investment type of loans where you can do that with. So it's not as easy as people just say, I don't want to use my credit, I don't want to use nothing, I just want to use the LLC. First of all, is your LLC established? Do you have records? Is it licensed? It's so much more to it than just saying, I'm going to put the house in my LLC, right? You can't put the house in your LLC and your credit 520. Who's the guarantor on the property, right? So it's more to it. I love to have a conversation, kind of give you some of the guidelines, the things to go over. But it's possible you can do it, but it's not as simple as people try to seem. And see, that's when you get the people have unrealistic expectations, and you tell them it's twenty
Mhm.
percent down. Then they're like, "What?
Mhm.
Yeah." They don't tell you that on the short YouTube video.
Mhm.
So and my job is to tell you all the details that goes with it. It's possible, but it's a little bit more work that we got to do to get you where you want to go.
Good information.
Mhm.
So, like you say, I know it's getting to your bedtime, and some got to go. So we're gonna wrap it up to a couple of questions. Um, do y'all feel the market is in a state of emergency right now, or if so, why? If not, why not?
What do you mean by state of emergency?
Yeah.
Question
It's
that.
it's a simple supply and demand. It's not
Yeah.
enough homes for the people. You have to understand that we have people that are moving into this country like crazy, and during the pandemic, they had to stop building a lot of homes. Lumber prices went up. They're actually trying to catch up.
Fact.
You go to some areas, you see a lot of construction, and then also with inflation and the cost of everything, people can't afford homes off the salaries that they used to think they can afford homes.
Mhm.
So it's a reality check. I tell people all the time, we ball out, my people, we ball out at the clubs and stuff when we need to be saving that money. Because again, $65,000 is not $65,000 that we once knew. That was a good job back in the days. Now you need a wife that's working to add to go get a house.
Boom.
I mean, it's
Boom.
the American dream is changing, and again, realistic expectations. You can still buy a
Yep.
home, but it's not going to be this dream home that you see waterside in Suffolk or in Smithfield.
Mhm.
No, it's going to be in Hampton, downtown area. Somebody done did some renovations. They're reselling it for 225. But that's great. Let's build from there.
Yeah, you got to start
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
And I always tell my clients, they said, well, I'm gonna wait till the interest rates go down. And my thing is, if you want to purchase a home and you can afford it and you get pre-approved, do it. In 6 months, a year, if the rates go down and your credit score is still good,
Refinance.
refinance.
Finance.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get started. That's the
Preach.
biggest part. And you can't
Preach.
be afraid to get started.
And
What they
that's a
fail to
big part
realize
of it
is
is fear.
fear, and what they fail to realize is that if you're gonna wait for the interest rates to go down, think about how many people that's saying the same thing as you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So then, you know what I'm saying, then you're gonna go into a process where you got to go through a bidding war,
Yep.
and you got to, you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
spend more money on a property because you waited. Where if you would have
Mm-hmm.
went, you know what I mean, a couple of months later, you wouldn't have had to worry about it.
Yep. And you would
Mm.
have been just refinancing.
Yep.
So I'm hearing the question, Rob, and I'm thinking about like the things that we're not thinking about. What's happening in the major cities? Let's say Atlanta, for example. I've seen it happening in Vegas, Wall Street, corporations, major hedge funds are buying
Buying
homes,
all the
single
property.
family homes,
Yep.
and are renting them, not leaving an opportunity for people to
For you.
purchase homes. And we hear about Atlanta being, Black Mecca, and they made that a target zone to go in and just buy up all of these single family homes. So I guess touching on state of emergency, I guess, and somebody mentioned about getting a partner. I think it was you, Tiante, a wife. We have to look even beyond that and start really considering joint efforts to
Yep.
secure properties. I had some clients just closed this week to where two friends went in on a loan together just to get a property. And I was telling them about appreciation over time. In 2 years, hell, maybe you made net 50,000. You could split the proceeds, and now you have some money. But just putting it in their minds that hey, y'all gonna be roommates either way. How about going in together and getting this house, making it make sense instead of throwing money down the toilet? So we got to start introducing more creative ways because it is that dire. We are getting to this point where there's money flowing all around us, and we, with the individual silo mentality, are letting it just go past us when we have an opportunity to join forces and kind of like make it happen for ourselves. So that's what I'm seeing on an overarching level.
I like that perspective, Brandon, because that's true. It is about partnership, because the supply and demand is so jacked
Mm-hmm.
up, and we have these hedge funds buying up properties. So it is about partnership. So really, it is a state of emergency. Is do what you can to get in a home, or you're going to be a renter for probably
Ever.
forever.
Yep.
Yeah.
And subject to the person to the landlord going up on the rent every chance they
Yep.
get.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And people need to start looking in these areas that seem less desirable. They're
Mm.
building up downtown
And
Newport
downtown
News,
Newport News, yeah.
downtown
Hmm.
I'm
Suffolk.
talking about
Mm-hmm.
downtown Newport News now.
I
Grab
mean,
you
that's
one of
where I'm
them
from.
homes
Now,
in
that's
Yeah.
where I'm
downtown
from. It's
Newport
all
News
good.
and fix
Yes,
it.
indeed.
Right.
That's
Yes,
my home.
indeed.
It's my city. It's all
That's
good.
that's all of us. So when we look at that, right, and we also got to educate people on just like just stop and be conscious of like what's going on in Hampton Roads. And we see the casino come. We see Amazon showing up. We see a lot of different companies
Mm-hmm.
coming from
They
outside.
see
We see
it.
the expansion
Mm-hmm.
of the HRBT, which means that we want to put more and more
More
people
people.
here. And if we don't secure a home, a place to call our own, I'm a Ridley Circle baby, and it hurt me to just watch my place just go. And all these other places like Dickinson Court, Harbor Homes, they all gone.
Seven
And
Oaks still sitting there. It's still sitting.
hanging on, right?
It's
But
hanging
but what we're seeing is like ultimately that
on.
stuff, our roots, the essence of who we are as people is going to be eviscerated, just gone.
Yep.
And we don't have anything to like show for it. So like
Yeah.
I say all of this with the expansion of the HRBT, for example, because if you know the South Side is super congested. It's super congested, and now they want to make it more the commute easier for people to come to the peninsula. Once they do that, we want to see another increase in value on the peninsula.
Yeah.
If they buy up the homes on the peninsula that could be reserved for us if we took control of our neighborhoods, if they buy those and push us out, I foresee people living in Franklin, Waverly, and commuting to just to work these jobs and just get phased out. So again, back to that state of
Mm-hmm.
emergency. The more I start thinking, I'm thinking like, yeah, this is what we're looking at. If we don't do something to try to grab a hold of what we should claim as ours, it's gonna be gone.
Brandon, we got
Yeah.
good news. I'm on the Ridley project. So we got Legacy Landing and we got Lipton Rise downtown for you where Ridley used to be at. So we are in fluctuating new homes, well, new units for people to live in down there. So check it out when you get a chance. Go down to 12th and Ave, Ivy, that area. You'll see some new stuff down there for you.
Yeah,
It ain't Ridley, but it's the new Ridley.
I'm with it. But
All
you know what
right.
I
Okay.
mean. You know what I
Okay.
mean. We see it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Last question for the day. And I appreciate all y'all for y'all time.
Oh, no problem.
Deontay, read that. You got your glasses on, man.
If my property is in foreclosed and the property sells for more than what I owe, do I flyer the overages? Um,
Fight House in foreclosure. Like, damn. Uh, uh, with all the appreciation of values in these past couple of years, we gotta be, we gotta lean on each other, y'all. We gotta talk. We
Yes.
gotta, we gotta be honest, and we gotta just be able to be vulnerable with each other and say, "Hey, this is my situation. Can you help me?"
Yep.
Instead of waiting for it to get there. I know it's crying over spilled milk right now, but for anybody that's listening, if you have any financial hardship right now, contact anybody on this platform right now, please, and allow them to run some numbers for you because your equity should be up right now. You should not be in that situation. But to answer that question, Keontae, I know you probably already own it.
do your thing, bro.
Look, I don't know, man. I know that we got a lot of work to do, and the trauma that we face it caused us to bottle down and keep that stuff in. But man, again, back to that state of emergency question, yo, we are there, and we gotta be better. We gotta have
Yeah.
these conversations. We gotta feel comfortable enough and trust the people around us who doing these jobs to reach out and say this is what it is. Um, because nobody's winning when they do that. Like,
Yep.
ugh, my nerves
So,
messed up a little bit.
so what typically happens when you're in foreclosure, whatever your balance of the loan is due. So the bank owns your property. They're going to come after you for that money. They're going to put that foreclosure in your credit and everything like that. Now they sell the property. There can be some credit towards your balance, but they're not going to give you no check. You ain't getting none of that money unless it goes towards your balance that's owed. But the foreclosure is going to be in your credit for like 7 years or so.
7 years.
Yeah, 7 years. So it's almost like a bad bankruptcy, but you can get out of that. It's ways. There's programs that you could still buy again. Just gotta wait a little bit time.
And please, please talk to somebody before you allow yourself to go in foreclosure.
Mm-hmm. Don't
There's
worry
so
about
many
embarrassing.
programs and options. Just talk to somebody,
Yeah.
a professional, not your next door neighbor.
Correct. That
And watch
part.
out for the wholesalers that's trying to get your property out of
Uh-huh.
foreclosure.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yep. You right.
Well, I
Yep.
want to say I thank all y'all for tuning on. It's been a great show. It's been long. I know some got places to be, things to do. So we're gonna close it off. Like I said, thank you. And everybody that's been watching, please go, like you say, get with these people privately. If you're looking at to buy a home, land, or anything to do in the market. And like we said, this is a pleasure. We're gonna end it out with this. May the wind always be at your back and the sun always upon your face. And may the wings of destiny carry you aloft to dance with the stars. Until next time, keep listening with pleasure, of course. Thank you all for coming on. God bless you. Good night.
I
Appreciate
appreciate
Good
it.
you
night.
guys.
Good night.
All right,
All
y'all.
right.
All right,
All
see
right.
y'all.